folks? How you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for the American Liberty Radio Network. The American Liberty Radio Network. That sound like patriotic radio to you? Because, you know, hey, that's what it is. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. You can go there, check things out as well. You guys rock. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying, man. You guys freaking rock. So anyway, what's going on? Let's see. Let's get into the news. Shall we? Want to get into the news? Because, you know, hey, there's a lot of it to share today. Because I've already posted a few things on American Liberty Radio Podcast. I got that damn phlegmy thing going on again. California high-speed rail loses in court again. This is from Breitbart. Yeah. Joel B. Pollack over at Breitbart. Thank you, Joel. California High-Speed Rail Authority will have to obey the state's environmental laws despite a federal board's ruling that federal laws supersede them. I just want to stop right there and say this. I'm glad. That's according to a decision by a panel of the Ninth Circuit judges on Wednesday. I'm glad they don't have this high-speed rail system going in. It says here, the U.S. Surface Transportation Board had ruled in 2014 that federal law trumped the California Environmental Quality Act. That ruling was a major victory for the financially troubled and delayed high-speed rail project, which hoped to bypass the Golden State's heavy thicket of environmental regulations and requirements. Quote, CEQA is a state preclearance requirement that, by its very nature, could be used to deny and significantly delay an entity's right to construct a line that the board has specifically authorized, thus impinging upon the board's exclusive jurisdiction over the rail transportation, unquote, the Surface Transportation Board found in its 2014 ruling. But the Ninth Circuit declared on Wednesday that the Surface Transportation Board's ruling was merely an advisory opinion. That meant, ironically, that the court had to dismiss a lawsuit brought by opponents of the high-speed rail project since it had no jurisdiction in the matter. But it left standing last week's California Supreme Court decision that rail projects are indeed subject to CEQA, which affects high-speed rail, though it is not involved in the case. Breitbart News' Chris Street reported last week that the California Supreme Court's decision could cost the project, quote, another 4 years and $15 billion, unquote, based on the time it would take to comply with CEQA and inflation costs. While high-speed rail stumbles, the Hyperloop, the Elon Musk-backed alternative that would use new technology along existing rights-of-way, achieved a new milestone by running nearly 200 miles per hour in a test on Saturday. California's done. California's a communist nation. California is just, that's what it is. It's that's what it is. It's a communist nation. There is absolutely no doubt about that. And I say that for this reason. How would you like to take a wild guess as to who's going to put in a rail system, a high-speed rail system, on the existing rights-of-way in California if the California High-Speed Rail Authority is stalled in their efforts to create one of their own. Guess who's going to step in? Now, I'm not saying it'll happen, but I'm just taking a wild guess here. Elon Musk, Tesla, Tesla Motor Company and all that. He's going to step in. I really think he's going to negotiate at some point. And he's going to step in to take control of this whole situation. I just have a feeling that this is what's going to happen. He's going to follow because there's existing rights of way, which of course you don't need authorization for, from the, or clearance from the Environmental Protection Act or whatever the hell it is, California Environmental Quality Act. You don't know, it's already there. They've already made that. Boom. He'll just come right in, find the existing systems, upgrade those, and voila. And build, whatever they wanted to build. It's going to take them a while. It's not going to be overnight. But it's going to take them a while. It really is one of those things that when you look at California, when you examine the very politics in California, you're going to see that there is corruption all through that. Okay, just completely all through the whole thing. Okay? It's not... and a lot of people say, well, that's not right. I am glad that the California High-Speed Rail Authority was stopped from doing what they're doing. Besides, it's a boondoggle. It's going to cost California way too much money to be able to put that in. And I bet you any amount of money, I bet you a penny. I got a penny in my pocket. I bet you a penny that not Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein's husband has his finger in the pie somewhere in this whole mess. I really think so. So I am glad that this was stopped because it's a waste. It's a complete and utter waste to spend additional money to build a high-speed rail. Where are they going? LA to Las Vegas? Is that what it is? Or is it through the whole state? Now, if it's billions of dollars through the whole state from the Oregon border to, Baja, California, fine. Let's find out what we can do and make things happen. That's great. But if it's only going to be from a short distance, it's a complete and utter waste. So anyway, that's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast. Actually, it's already there. Go check it out. To kill or not to kill? Blatant doublethink from the Canadian government. Steemit, S-T-E-E-M-I-T, Steemit is reporting this. Steemit.com. The family unit is slowly becoming a thing of the past as fewer households are composed of a mom, and dad, and kids, that's in quotes, and more people are living alone and choosing not to procreate. What's the Canadian government's response? Why, to kill more babies, of course. There's a video involved here. And it's by Dan Dix of Press for Truth, points out the contradictory stance that the Canadian government has been taking when it comes to having abortions and or giving birth. So that's going up. That's on American Liberty Radio podcast as well. I'm pro-life, folks. I'm pro-life. The doctor, the mom, or the mom and dad and the doctor should be the only ones making that decision, not the freaking government. Okay? Government needs to get the hell out of healthcare, and that's just the way it is. And we, the people, need to choose our doctors and all of that has to be privatized. Social Security and everything has to be privatized. And I'll tell you why. And it's real simple. And those out there that disagree with me, please crunch the numbers and tell me why I'm wrong. But Social Security and all that needs to be privatized for this reason. Give us our money that we contributed to, while we were working. Give us our money. We can invest it in what we want. Real estate, rentals, whatever it is. Because it's our money. Why are you giving it away, Mr. Government official, to people coming here illegally and padding your pockets with the money that I earn? You're a freaking criminal. You just stole my money. I want my money now. So privatize Social Security and all of that. Put doctors in charge of all that, not these pencil-pushing Harvard ne'er-do-wells. Give us our money. We can invest in it. You want the economy to pick up and get out of the hole that it's in at this point in 2017? That's what you'll do. That's only part of what you need to do. So, that's what, seriously. You crunch the numbers and tell me why I'm wrong. Go ahead, crunch the numbers. Tell me why I'm wrong. I don't think I am, because my math, I'm pretty good at math. 1 + 1 = 2. See? So, I've crunched the numbers myself. Give or take about 10 to 12% in the positive. I can almost assure you that your investment from your own money that you keep into the marketplace, which would be the commerce and all of that in the United States, will give you a return on your money. But if you let government, keep your money and invest it in what they want, you're not getting crap in return. Nothing. Well, you get a safe place and roads and... Yeah, go take your liberal ass someplace else. We know better what we need to do with our money, not government. So government needs to, Washington, D.C., all of that just needs to go away and let us do what we need to do. That's just the way it is. I've known people, even now at my age and even later, a little older than myself, getting ready to retire. And guess what? They're not going to have crap when they retire. Even on Social Security disability, you're not getting crap. You're not getting raises. You're not getting food subsidies. You're not getting anything. Why? Because the government takes your money and shoves it in their pocket or puts it into the military-industrial complex and those black projects they're proud of. So, yeah. Or gives it to freaking illegal aliens just to do what they want. No, close the damn border, kick their asses out, and give us our money. I know somebody's going to yell at me about that. I don't care. I know what I'm talking about. I just want to take a deep breath. Don't want to rant. It's one of those things, folks. Hey, let's hit up a website here as soon as I find it. There we go. Geez, I'm getting all sorts of responses from a post I put up. Holy mackerel. Yeah, crap. Jerome Corsi contributes to Infowars.com, 4th of August 2017. In 2005, Mueller closed grand jury probe into Clinton's pardon of Mark Rich. Quote, Clinton fixer, unquote, James Comey was DOJ chief prosecutor in Mark Rich pardon case. Washington, this is from Jerome Corsi, Infowars.com. As special counsel Robert Mueller convenes a grand jury to investigate the Trump campaign's ties to Russia during the 2016 campaign, which there wasn't any. It is important to recall that Mueller made the decision in 2005 to close an FBI grand jury investigation that was convened by the FBI. Excuse me. In the 2001 investigation into former President Bill Clinton's decision to pardon fugitive financier Mark Rich. Okay, let me back up. Between trying to clear my throat and everything else, let me set the stage for you. Special Counsel Robert Mueller, back in 2005, closed a grand jury investigation. Just closed it. Closed an FBI grand jury investigation into the Clintons. Into Bill Clinton pardoning financier Mark Rich. If you don't know that story about Mark Rich and the Clintons, go look it up, startpage.com. So here he is, Robert Mueller again, convenes a grand jury to investigate the Trump campaign's ties to Russia during the 2016 campaign, which in fact, a couple of months ago at least, the FBI already did their internal investigation into that. And people in the FBI have already said that there was no collusion between the Russians and they never hacked into here to get President Donald Trump elected to office. Okay? just want to lay it out for you there, okay? Continuing, also interesting is the role former FBI Director James Comey played in the decision to end Mark Rich grand jury without a recommendation of prosecution. So James Comey goes back to the Clintons. From 1987 and 1993, Comey, working in the U.S. Attorney's Office for Southern District of New York, served as a DOJ prosecutor who oversaw the prosecution of Mark Rich, the billionaire oil trader convicted of tax fraud and trading with Iran during the embassy hostage crisis. That's who Mark Rich is. But in 2001, when Bill Clinton decided on his last day in office to pardon Mark Rich, Comey oversaw the criminal investigation, but decided there was no wrongdoing on Bill Clinton's part. Well, he pardoned the guy. There's no wrong. He pardoned him. Quote, despite public outcry over the evidence that Rich's ex-wife had donated to Hillary Clinton's Senate campaign, unquote. Excuse me? What? Conflict of interest there, Mr. Bill Clinton. You pardoned a guy that contributed to Hillary's Senate campaign. So you're going, oh, he contributed, and that's my money too, so therefore I'm going to pardon you. Huh. Comey oversaw criminal investigation, but decided there was no wrongdoing on Bill Clinton's part. You see the corruption there, folks? Now, Mueller and Comey were both considered to be, quote-unquote, Clinton fixers during the Mark Rich case, bears merit given the case the grand jury was investigating, namely that there was clear suspicion Denise Rich, the ex-wife of Mark Rich, had bribed the Clintons to obtain the pardon. Clear evidence. Robert Mueller, James Comey, Clinton fixers. They're now in the news again. Okay. Robert Mueller is convening a grand jury to look into the collusion of Russia into the 2016 election of Donald Trump to president. That's a waste of freaking taxpayer money right there, folks. I'm not kidding you. Okay, that's just a complete freaking waste. Do you see the corruption yet? I'm connecting the dots for you. Can you see them? Hello? You know what they are? You know these people in this whole game, and you see what's going on in front of you. Here's another one. Paul Joseph Watson, Infowars.com, 4th of August, 2017. Witch hunt, quote-unquote, Russia collusion investigation includes tenants who rented apartments in Trump Tower. CNN admits parts of Mueller's probe, quote, unconnected to the 2016 elections, unquote. Desperate to politically damage President Trump to lay the grounds for impeachment, Robert Mueller's investigation into quote-unquote Russian collusion now includes material, quote, unconnected to the 2016 elections, unquote, and even includes tenants who stayed in Trump Tower over the last 6 years. That's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast. Do you see the insanity here, folks? They're trying to pin something on Trump to have ammo for an impeachment and blah, 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 and go down the line. They're never going to impeach him, but they're doing everything they can to find anything that they can. They're turning over rocks and taking documents and talking to people. They're not going to get the evidence. Why? Because there is none. They're shooting in the dark at nothing. They're grasping at straws. They're looking for a needle in a haystack. Let's come up with some more euphemisms, shall we? It's not going to happen. And Robert Mueller and James Comey both need to be barred from Washington, D.C. and have their, if I don't know what James Comey is, but Robert Mueller, he needs to have his law license pulled. He's wasting taxpayer money doing what? It's a frickin' witch hunt. On a positive note, CNBC is reporting, the 4th of August 2017, Trump effect, jobs numbers, smash expectations for July, 209,000 jobs added, unemployment rate dropping. There's like 1.2 million people out of work, and 209,000 just got jobs? That ain't crap, folks. The U.S. economy added 209,000 jobs in July, and the unemployment rate was 4.3%. It's a lot more than that, according to a government report Friday. Economists surveyed by Reuters had expected the report to show growth of 183,000, but the jobless rate ticked down to 4.3%, the lowest since March of 2001. A more encompassing rate that includes discouraged workers and the underemployed was unchanged at 8.6%. Add the numbers together, folks. Take the numbers of unemployed, underemployed, and discouraged workers. Take all those numbers and see if it comes out to 4.3%. No. It's a lot higher than that. The number of employed Americans also hit a fresh new high at 153.5 million. No. The employment to population ratio also moved up to 60.2%, its highest level since February 2009. Stock market futures, like the news, rising to indicate a positive open, while government bond yields also moved considerably higher. If I'm wrong about the numbers, let me know. American Liberty Radio Podcast. Go crunch the numbers and put them down there at the American Liberty Radio Podcast. And then look at the demographics of how many of those employed are working part-time. Well, they're still working. No. To me, when you have a job, it's 40 hours a week, 80 hours 2 weeks, 160 hours a month. That, to me, is employed. Somebody working 4 hours a day, 3 days a week, to me, is nothing. If you can't pay the rent on part-time wages, yeah, you're not employed. You're supplementing you're supplementing your lifestyle with, bits and pieces here. You know what I mean? A dollar here, a dollar there, a penny here, a penny there. I know people right now who have part-time jobs And they work 3 of them in one day, in a 24-hour period. Okay? Now, what would I consider to be, well, I already told you what I consider to be employed. And that would be full-time, 40 hours a week. So look at the demographics and find out who's part-time and look at the areas and the regions and all of it. Crunch the numbers. I want to hear from you folks. Even in Billings, Montana, I want to hear from you folks, man. Crunch the numbers and you tell me if that 4.3% is accurate. 152, what did it say? 153 million people. The number of employed Americans also hit a fresh new high at 153.5 million people. Really? That's more than a third of the population of America, okay? Of the United States. There's 325 million people in the United States of America. And 153 million of them found jobs. Out of that 153.5 million people, how many people are working part-time, working less hours than normal, which I would consider 40 hours a week? You know, I mean, crunch the numbers. I want to hear from you. American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. Go crunch the numbers and post it there. And you can earmark it to me. That's fine. I'll get the notification. Seriously, folks. Oh, God. Well, here's some more good news. ABC is reporting on August 4th, 2017. U.S. trade deficit narrowed to $43.6 billion in June. Trade gap down 6%. Exports hit 2-year high. Well, yeah, now that Trump's in office. The U.S. trade deficit narrowed in June as exports, there's more than one, exports hit the highest level in 2 years. The Commerce Department said Friday that the trade gap slid 5.9% in June to $43.6 billion. Exports of goods and services rose 1.2% to $194.4 billion, the highest the highest amount since December of 2014, on higher foreign demand for American soybeans, computer accessories, and other products. Service exports reached a record of $65.4 billion. There's read more. It comes from ABC. So, yeah, folks. Look at those, draw your own conclusion, assess it, and comment on American Liberty Radio Podcast. Everything that we know, everything that we see, everything that we understand is literally right there in front of our faces. And what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm going to go to break, folks. I'm going to go to break. This is American Liberty Radio Network on Spreaker.com. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com is the website. Check it out. Go to the sponsors page, advertise on the network. All the information is right there. I shall return in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away. This is American Liberty Radio Network. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. The reality underneath the honesty. LiveTruthRadio.com. Check out Late Night in the Midlands with your host Michael Vera at LateNightInTheMidlands.com, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to LateNightInTheMidlands.com. The world as we know it has been turned upside down. The leaders are faced with possible annihilation from their enemies. The United States is at the brink of a total collapse. This is the reality we live in. What can be done? The truth, the facts. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Hey folks, I am back. Excuse me, still got the phlegmy thing going on. This stuff is just not letting me go, man. I woke up this morning and it was like I had a Mojave Desert in my nose. It was like, holy crap, man. Somebody said drink more water. I'm like, well, yeah, I like water. Yeah, water's good for you. It's in my coffee. I'm good. So I have water. Anyway, I also have coffee, so, you know. Anyway, folks, I just want to spell out a couple of things for you here. Spell out. Is that in the right context? I'm sorry. Put on your, grammar Nazi hat and tell me whether or not that was right. Let me just fill you in on something. There we go. That works. American Liberty Radio Network is for you. For the American people, for people all over the world looking for peace, freedom, liberty, and security for their country. American Liberty Radio Network was created to give you the information that no one else will. And your support for this network is absolutely appreciated very much, and I'm very grateful that you listen. But dropping a few bucks in the dollar to become a patron, or in the kitty to become a patron, a few bucks there on the sponsors page of the website, is very much appreciated because that helps me, a great deal, continue my research, continue all of the things that I do here, and keeps the lights on. So if you can do that, go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com, go to the sponsors page. Down at the bottom of that little list of prices there for advertising on the network, you'll see become a patron. Or, on the other side of that, you'll see a PayPal link. Either one of those, drop $1 in the kitty, help me keep the lights on around here, and help keep American Liberty Radio Network on the air. So, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And if you want to advertise on the network, all the information is on the sponsors page. Those prices are going up in October, but not much because I'm not out to break your advertising budget. So keep an eye out. So if you want to help, thank you. There you go. Appreciate that very much, actually. There are certain, I want to say this, there are certain people out there who will never admit to defeat. I'm telling you right now, there are people out there who will never admit to defeat. And this is one of them. The Washington Examiner is reporting on the 4th of August 2017, Debbie Wasserman Schultz says she doesn't regret standing by arrested IT staffer. Sorry, IT. They got to do something there. Insists she, quote, did the right thing, unquote. She stands by. She doesn't regret standing by the arrested IT staffer. Now, what went on? I'll fill you in. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz says she did the right thing by not immediately dismissing an IT staffer after he was banned from the House Computer Network and fired by other members of Congress. Quote, I believe that I did the right thing and I would do it again, unquote. Wasserman Schultz, Democrat of Florida, said Thursday in an interview with the Sun Sentinel, quote, there are times when you can't be afraid to stand alone and you have to stand up for what's right. It would have been easier for me just to fire him, unquote. Imran Awan was arrested on bank fraud charges by federal officials last week as he was attempting to leave the country for Pakistan. Wasserman Schultz fired Awan after the arrest became public. The criminal complaint charges that he and his wife conspired to secure a fraudulent loan. That's what happened. It says read more, so I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio podcast. I often wonder why people cannot just admit defeat. Okay, I just, why are they going to, I mean, you know, somebody, well, I'm going to stand up for what's right. Even when you're wrong? I mean, seriously. What? I mean, you know, I just don't get it. I honestly, I mean, I just don't get it. Let's go to RT.com, shall we? There's a few things over there. Kremlin agrees with Trump that Russia-U.S. ties at very dangerous low. Excuse me. Trump's trying to work with Vladimir Putin. He's trying to befriend him and help and come together and do the right thing. You know who is really screwing things up? And that would be the Progressive Party of Washington, D.C. The Democratic Socialists and the Republican Fascists. These people are trying to destroy the United States of America, and they're using all this made-up bull crap, this created crap that they think will, make its way into the minds of the people and turn against Trump. No, it's all made-up bull crap. And these progressives, these liberals, these far-left liberal loons are literally trying to destroy the United States of America. And people are sitting around going, see, Trump colluded with Russians. No, you're a freaking idiot. No, he didn't. He's trying to, be friendly with them. But the Kremlin agrees with Trump that Russia-U.S. ties are at a very dangerous low. Milan Antonov from the AFP. The Kremlin agrees with Donald Trump's assessment of the poor state of relations between the U.S. and Russia. Its spokesman said earlier, Trump accused the U.S. Congress of dragging the relationship with Russia into an all-time and very dangerous low. See, he even pointed at Congress. So don't tell me it's Trump. You guys are full of it. Quote, we fully agree with this opinion, unquote. Dmitry Peskov told reporters on Friday, quote, the danger may come from the lack of cooperation and interaction on issues crucial to our peoples and nations, unquote. See, Donald Trump wants to help and wants to sit down with Vladimir Putin and talk this stuff out. That's called diplomacy. Okay. Congress does not want that. Why? Because now get this, once the gravy train is derailed, Congress won't make their billions of dollars a year. You understand where this is going? Follow the money, connect the dots. I've always said that. The new Trump has said U.S. lawmakers forced him into signing a bill which issues new economic sanctions against Russia. So therefore, Congress is in collusion with the elites of the world to damage the reputation of Donald Trump and possibly get him pushed out of office so they can continue their warmongering, their fear-mongering, their, stealing your money through taxes and, whatever. So it's Congress. We need to get rid of 535 congressmen and women. Excuse me. We need to get rid of at least 500 of them because I'm sure there's a few of them, a handful of them that are doing the right thing. I myself personally think we don't need 535 congressmen and women. I think we need 150, 3 representatives from each state. A Democrat, a Republican, if you still want to do the party line, and the governor. And that's it. That's it. That's what we need. We don't need 535 congressmen there every day, every year to become professional politicians. No, screw that. But if you want to continue that thing, we need term limits. Term limits, 6 years for everybody. That's it. You're done. You wait another 6 years, and then you can run for re-election. How's that? Huh? It works, right? Doesn't it? Tell me why it doesn't. Continuing on, the new act strips the act that Donald Trump signed he was forced to sign, sanctions against Russia. The new act strips the authority of the U.S. presidential office to lift sanctions imposed on Russia by executive orders signed by former President Barack Obama. In other words, those sanctions that former President Barack Obama signed against Russia stay, and Congress says, no, Donald Trump, you're going to have to sign this, and you cannot lift these sanctions at all, even through executive order. That's what Congress, they're basically slapping the hand of the president, saying, no, keep your hand out of the cookie jar. Or actually, no, what Congress is doing is literally pushing Donald Trump away from the cookie jar so Congress can still take the cookies out of the jar. In other words, make a profit from the elites who have all of this stuff connected. Follow the money, connect the dots. You'll know what I'm talking about. It also targets companies in third countries with penalties for cooperating with Russia on energy projects. Big pipeline running through the Ukraine. Russia owns that big-ass pipeline. If we go in there and try to take stuff from that pipeline, oh yeah, Russia's going to get pissed off. The countries, our allies, if we go in there, our allies go in there and try to take oil from that, no. Can't do that. You see how stupid all of this is? This is going up on American. That's my opinion, but you guys go assess this on your own and draw your own conclusions on this. Okay? Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin need to have a summit, need to sit down and literally bring all their people into this summit like the UN and begin a mass firing of everybody who's, really being stupid about all this. Okay? Seriously. I'm serious. This has to happen because Congress is colluding against, I don't know who they're colluding with, but they're colluding against Donald Trump. Okay? McMaster's is developing and engaging in treasonous acts against the president by forcing certain people to stage a coup against the president. So I don't want to hear it anymore, folks. Seriously. I don't want to hear it anymore. You people need to draw your own conclusion on this, connect the dots, follow the money. You're going to find out I'm right. And if I'm not, let me know. Hey, I'm okay with that. Trump says losing war in Afghanistan wants top brass reshuffled. Vast stupidity. That's a quote by Oliver Stone slams dumb U.S. sanctions against Russia. Yeah, vast stupidity right there. Because Congress is being a dumbass. It's just... Coal-fired power plant in China issues green bonds. What is that? Let's go take a look, shall we? This is at RT.com, by the way. 4th of August, 2017, by Frederick J. Brown. Thank you, Fred. Appreciate that very much. Coal-fired power plant in China issues green bonds. A power station in the Chinese city of Tianjin has issued quote-unquote green bonds worth 1 billion yuan, I think that's what it is, $150 million to subsidize a 2,000 megawatt coal-fired power plant. Okay, I got to get the words right. They're subsidizing this. Environmental activists have attacked the move. Tianjin SDIC Jinneng Electric Power, if I can speak, said it registered its short-term green bonds on the interbank market. The company is planning to sell the obligation in a third quarter of this year. Quote, this is from Reuters, quote, the company's registration and issuance of the green bonds have driven forward the green, circular, and low-carbon development of Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei region, unquote, the company said in a statement by Reuters. This is the first green bond of its kind launched by China's thermal power sector, the company says. The returns will reportedly be used to pay back loans steered into the construction of two of the latest ultra-supercritical coal-fired electricity generating plants. To promote new methods of financing to back China's transition to cleaner growth, Beijing opened 5 green finance pilot zones. Under the program, the government is going to spend at least 3 trillion yuan, $450 billion, annually by 2020 to reduce pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. China is planning to scale down the share of coal in its total energy mix from 64% in 2015 to 58% by the end of the decade. At that same time, total consumption of coal is expected to grow over the period. This is going up on American Liberty Radio Network or American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook because if you've ever been to China, I haven't. I would love to go, though. If you've ever been to China, oh my God, their air quality sucks. Okay. I mean, yeah. Oh my God. So anyway, I can just go down the line here and tell you what's going on. For some reason, the browser does not want to work. This is really weird. Let's go to Breitbart, shall we? See what's on Breitbart other than a couple of articles I shared on American Liberty Radio Podcast. Talked about McMaster's. Here's this from Breitbart. Charlie Spearing, thank you, Charlie. Report, H.R. McMaster's, quote, increasingly volatile, unquote, and, quote, frequently blows his top, unquote. A new report reveals that President Donald Trump's national security advisor, H.R. McMaster's, has grown, quote, increasingly volatile, unquote, in the White House, but that John Kelly, his chief of staff, has assured him his job is safe. Did I say McMaster's? I don't know. Go to startpage.com and type in coup, C-O-U-P, coup against President Trump, and you'll see a whole bunch of articles there. I may have been wrong about McMaster's. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'll tell you. The negative stories surrounding his time in the White House are causing McMaster's to lose his cool, according to a Politico report citing White House officials who have interacted with the general. Quote, McMaster's, whose temper is legendary, frequently blows his top at high-level meetings, unquote. The report says, citing national security leaks that he believes undercut his authority. McMaster's and Steve Bannon also clashed with each other in front of the president during a reported meeting about a strategy on Afghanistan. Reports Thursday revealed that McMaster's concluded that former National Security Advisor Susan Rice did nothing wrong, amidst questions about her decisions to unmask the identity of Trump transition officials communicating with Russians. A letter from McMaster's to Rice also surfaced showing that he assured her that her security clearance would remain intact. Oh? What? Former National Security Advisor Susan Rice still has a security clearance? Are you out of your freaking minds? Seriously. That's going up on American Liberty. That's the whole article, by the way, I just read to you. But that's going up on American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. I just... I don't know, folks. Yeah. Exclusive. Sessions orders look into Obama holder DOJ slush fund payments to leftist activist organizations. An internal Department of Justice memorandum obtained by Breitbart News Friday indicates Attorney General Jeff Sessions is trying to get to the bottom of the DOJ slush fund for left-wing groups he dismantled in June. That's going up on American Liberty Radio Podcast. I just, in my opinion, folks, and I'm going to say this because and this is something that I don't usually admit to. There are certain things I could be wrong about. Certain things. Not everything, but certain things I could be wrong about. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It's fine. What I don't like is when people get up in my face and point their finger in my face or in my chest and tell me that I'm wrong and all this, and they get all excited and everything, and I'd have to, pretty much knock them out. But, I just take one day at a time. I take one day at a time. I look at the situation. I assess what's there. I draw my own conclusions on it. And then I ask myself, how's it going to affect me if? That's all I do, folks. It's as simple as that. How is it going to affect me if? ... That's it. When I look at these articles, when I read them to you, sometimes I read them for the first time when I read them to you. And I look at that and I go, that's kind of, and in my mind, as I'm reading them to you, I kind of say, my mind just flips and goes, let's check that out a little deeper, shall we? But there, about 90% of everything that I read, I've read 20, 30, 40 years ago, and it's the same damn script, and it's the same damn thing that's happening, just different players upon the stage of life and in politics, and it's the same thing happening over and over and over again. Does it get boring? No, because, the script changes, but the same players on the stage. The script, it's still the same theme, still the same setting, but the script changes every so often, or the words in the script change, and certain directions are different, and all of that, and it's the players are different. That's all it is. The players are different. And when I read these articles, I look at everything that's out there, and I examine it. And I look at everything and I ask myself, how is it going to affect me if the politicians decide, and when I say politicians, I'm lumping everybody into that, including governors and lieutenant governors and all of that. If the politicians decide to come together and start weeding out the bad politicians that are there, the ones who are corrupt and all this, the United States of America would, within a probably a short period of reasonable time, 5-10 years maybe, the United States of America will become a better place to live for everyone. And it would be a better place for people to come and become citizens of the United States. But we have a big-ass problem in this country, and it's called corruption. And it's called the elites, like the Soros and the Rand Corporation and the Ford Foundation and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all of this and the Bilderbergs and all of it. That's the biggest problem we have in our world right now. And they're focused on destroying the United States of America. There's no doubt about that. I don't give one rip if somebody says that's only a conspiracy theory. Get the hell out of my face because you don't do your research. I've been researching this stuff, as I said in previous podcasts, I've been researching this stuff since Carter was president. And that's back in the 70s, 76 to 1980, 1976 to 1980. Okay, so I've got experience in researching this stuff. And I've connected the dots and followed the money. And believe me, 75 to 85% of Washington, D.C. right now, the 4th of August, 2017, is corrupt as hell. And they're getting kickbacks from big pharma, big agra, big business. Oh, yeah. Through the lobbyists and the special interest groups. The lobbyists talk to the politicians do what the lobbyists say, the special interest groups drop the money in the coffers of those campaign contributions is what they're called. They drop that money into the coffers of these politicians, and therefore their agenda is continued. That's how it works, folks. That's how it works. How in the hell do you think anything gets done in Washington, D.C. without money floating around between politicians and groups? That's why there's a problem in Washington, D.C. We need to cut that sumbitch off and throw it into the Atlantic. We need to repeal the Act of 1871 signed by President Ulysses S. Grant, and we just need to get rid of Washington, D.C. We need to repeal the Federal Reserve Act, and we need to repeal the Internal Revenue Act signed into law by President Woodrow Wilson in 1913. We need to get rid of those three things and put America back on the right track with the right people in the states, and we need to get rid of the corruption. Now, did I just draw my own target on my back for everybody to take a shot at? You bet. And I'm ready. Let's go. Bring it on. Bring it on. Because I'll expose you for the fraud that you are, Mr. Politician, Mrs. Politician. I don't care who the hell you are. Come on. Bring it on. Let's go. I hear the music. Let's dance. Come on. You feeling froggy? Let's jump there. Come on, Michigan J. Frog, let's go. Yeah, I don't back down from nobody. You know what I'm saying? So bring it on, let's go. And if Facebook wants to censor posts, then they're just as corrupt as anything else. And if YouTube wants to censor conservative and conservative shows and conservative videos, they're just as corrupt as hell too. So there you go. Do what you want, but also remember that it's going to be you that's going to be standing up for peace, freedom, liberty, and security in the nation of the United States of America. And if we can expose these people and change the outcome, then we're doing good. And right now we're not doing too bad, but we need to do better. And that's just the way it is. So people of the United States of America, as Brian Lang over at LiveTruthRadio.com says, stand up, speak out, get involved. Let's do it. Now, today, 4th of August, 2017. Let's get this sucker going, shall we? I'm going to take off. I got things to do. I'm in the studio. What trouble can I get into that I haven't already gotten into? AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.